What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Miller if you like. So let's get into it. So the Cowboys, unfortunately, fall to the Philadelphia Eagles, 41-7. I, even though the Cowboys were shorthanded this game, there was no way I could bring myself to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry, um, but I'm also not sorry. But Eagles did. They beat the Cowboys 41-70, 41-7. Beat the brakes off them. There were so many things that went wrong in this game. Um, I mean, you can go to the bad choices to leave Andrew Booth in single coverage against Devontae Smith. You can go back to the pick six and other interception by Cooper Rush. I mean, the fumbles, Jake Ferguson fumbled, Rico Dotto fumbled. So there was just a lot of inconsistent play from the Cowboys in this game that led to it being a long day. But nevertheless, if you're an NFL fan like me, and if you're a Cowboys fan like me, you know that that's the next to last game of the season. The Cowboys are not going to make the postseason. We're not going to get them see them in the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. Even though they've disappointed us, it was nice to see them at least make it to the postseason. I mean, we had the Ezekiel Elliott playing center, trying to snap the ball against the 49ers, even though the Cowboys were very unlikely to win that game. We also had the Dak Prescott not being able to get the ball snapped and spiked for a last shot at a touchdown, even though we were very unlikely to win that game. We have the first round win against Tampa Bay, where we kind of basically retired Tom Brady. We got the brakes beat off us by the Green Bay Packers. So just a lot of things going on in the last few years, but at least getting to watch playoff football and getting to root for your team and hope that, maybe they might be able to do something. So this year is so much different. So even though they lost, whatever like that, I'm just, of course I won't get to watch after next week. We don't get to watch our Cowboys until September of next year. If you're a football junkie like me, August of next year, because then you'll be in on the preseason. And throughout the whole offseason, I'll be here with you guys throughout all of it. We'll get some scouting combine in. We'll get to look at some draft picks. We'll get to dissect the way the Cowboys season ended. Things to look forward to the future. Checking to see if Mike McCarthy gets an extension. If not, we'll cover the coaching search. Like whatever rumors come on, whatever free agency happens, trades, releases, things like that, I'll be here for you guys through it all. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And by the way, we're almost at 50 subscribers. So I'm just telling you guys sometime this week, right? We're in the new year, new week. I expect to hit that mark sometime this week. So we'll definitely be giving something Cowboy-centric away. And throughout the next upcoming episodes, as soon as I see it, we're at 49. So one more person, I'll start to announce, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to give it away, to give everybody a fair chance at getting a chance to get the gift. But so we'll take a look at some of the plays from the game here. We'll autopsy this and kind of see what went wrong for the Cowboys. So we'll start here. And here we got 3rd down and 12. It's the second quarter. Cowboys are in the game right now. It's 13-7. So as we see, Kenny Pickett's in the backfield. We got the running back here. We got a 3-by-1, 3 wide receivers. 3 wide receivers on one side, 1 wide receiver on the other side. Cowboys are kind of showing that A-gap mug type blitz where we want to kind of get there and confuse the quarterback, let them know, hey, we could be coming, we could be dropping. Is it zone? Is it man? Just trying to give Kenny Pickett a lot to look at. So let's take a look. So at the snap of the play, Cowboys, like I said, showing that A-gap blitz, the mug, right? Kenny Pickett just kind of trusts what he sees. Looks like this guy is actually early. I didn't even peep this. But anyway, it looks like Kenny Pickett trusts what he sees because there's not too much motion going on. You don't hear too much of change of the call. So they probably like, hey, man, We just need to keep it simple for you. Our normal quarterback is out, so we got to kind of keep this simple, straightforward. If you get to the line, you don't see anything crazy. These are the type of things we game plan for. Run the play. So he does. He gets that guy definitely a hair early, right? He is the first one off the ball. He's already moving. He flinched, he moved, but there was no call on the play. Wouldn't have mattered much anyway. So now we see boom. So the Eagles have a good pocket right here, right? And here you have the receiver attacking here. You have A.J. Brown attacking underneath. And then you have another guy up here looking like he's pretty bodied up. And it looks like Philadelphia actually only sends 3 routes out on the play, right? So that kind of sucks. Boom. So when you look at the corner, right, you got not a Warrior, you got Booth here. Now Booth, I mean, he kind of opens his hips a little, but he never does. And so he sees the safety over the top here and probably is playing more towards the protection. So you see Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson starts to win here, right? It looks like it actually sets up pretty well for the Cowboys because they got that double A gap blitz that they like to call, right? And they brought it. Boom. So you have this guy here coming, this guy looping around. These two are blocked up. Now you have Carl Lawson coming free, right? So you're thinking, hey, man, we actually have a chance at a sack here. Kenny Pickett sees this, though. You can see his vision. He's locked in right here. And then he also knows where his read is. So he's got Devontae Smith. And Devontae Smith, Kenny Pickett is still holding the football, okay? So Kenny Pickett actually waits for Devontae Smith to come open before he releases the ball. A lot of times when we break down these highlights, especially if it's the Cowboys, you'll see Cooper Rush make the decision before the guy's even out of his break. In this particular scenario, you can tell you're playing with an inexperienced quarterback because he holds it until his guy comes open. Now he's releasing the football after Devontae Smith has already made the separation. But it proves to be the right route. It proves to be the right read, and a very easy touchdown for Devontae Smith. Probably one of the easiest of his career, just because Booth is just not ready to play corner in this situation. I don't know why. If you take a look at the Cowboys personnel, right? So you go back to the beginning of the play. All right, so you got this guy. This guy's Deron Bland. And you got him matched up on Dotson, right? And then you also have Jordan Lewis here, and he's matched up on, Jordan Lewis here, and he's matched up on Smith. I mean, not Smith, A.J. Brown. So that means you're leaving Booth. So I just said Jordan Lewis and Deron Bland. So these guys should switch places, but they don't. And that's what ends up happening. You end up having a great play by Devontae Smith. You end up having Kenny Pickett being able to hold on to the ball because his offensive line picked up the blitz and picked up they actually max protected on that play. And Devontae Smith just goes in for the touchdown. Just one of the many things that went wrong for the Cowboys on the day. So let's take a look at this here. So on this play, this is a running play, right? Philadelphia has their 5-down linemen. They have their tight end, and they have Pickett lined up in the backfield to start by himself. The Cowboys match with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys up at the line of scrimmage. Not even just in the box, just right at the line of scrimmage, right? So now Kenny Pickett is calling for the motion. He's calling for Saquon to come back in here, and Saquon does, right? So now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, and all 7 guys are pretty much right up on the line of scrimmage. So let's see what happens here. So on the play, Saquon gets the ball. Boom. Even though the Cowboys had 7 people on the line of scrimmage to start the play, right? As you watch, let's take a look. Boom. So he starts bailing immediately. And what that does is, it's a term that they use, they say run to the bubble, right? Because there is a big bubble here in the defense, right? Imagine like a semicircle, right? When Saquon gets the ball, boom. There's this guy, block. This guy, he doesn't even have to block. Just be there. And then this guy, block. And then block, block. So there's a big bubble here in the defense. And that's exactly what Saquon runs to. He runs to light. Boom. Another guy putting a nice block on. He's still riding this guy up here. Now, thankfully, Jordan Lewis, being the beast that he is, he gets Saquon to the ground. But, I mean, that is a fantastic play call for the Eagles. They ran several runs of that type. Saquon didn't really have, like, his patented, just gigantic gain of 50, 60 yards. But he still was able to consistently get yards against this defense just based on plays like that where the offensive line blocked, or the linebackers in this case, they bailed out. And while they were bailing out, offensive linemen were getting their hands on them. It was a badly timed call for the look that they were getting. So let's take a look at this one here. Now, this is not even the backup quarterback, right? This is the backup. This isn't Jalen Hurts. This isn't Kenny Pickett. This is Tanner McGee. Tanner McGee, right? So let's take a look. The Eagles have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4 guys out, right? You got your 5 down linemen, and actually they have 5 guys out. Sorry, see that Kelly Green throwing me off. They actually have 5 guys out in a route, and you got the single quarterback here, 5 down linemen. Cowboys match it with, it looks like dime, because the only linebacker on the field is Kendrick. So they actually have the rest and DBs out there. So they're matching it with dime coverage. Right? So Tanner knows, hey, I might get a little time on this with my line, right? So now you have the tight end motion out here to be next to the quarterback, maybe to add a little bit more protection, right? And so now he's looking for blitz pickup. He's looking to help whoever. But the Cowboys just rush forward. And right now the protection is good. You got protection on the outside. You don't really have a rush from the middle because you have a nice double team here. You have a one-on-one block here. Even if Micah Parsons wins this, you have an additional guy here to step up and hold. So the Cowboys at this point, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 people out in the route. And it looks like the Cowboys are playing the zone coverage, right? They're kind of just passing off guys, right? And Tanner McKee makes a decision, sort of like what we see with Cooper Rush, right? He was like, bro, right here, my guy is not even looking for the ball, and the ball is out of Tanner's hands. He's going to A.J. Brown right now. A.J. Brown isn't even looking for the ball. This is finally when A.J. Brown turns to look for the ball. As we can see, the ball's already downfield, right? It's already 10 yards past the line of scrimmage before A.J. Brown even turns around. But A.J. Brown gets his head around, boom, back shoulder, perfect throw. It doesn't matter how good the defense is. I know Deron Bland here. Deron Bland's acting like he got pushed off a little bit, but all in all, it's a back shoulder fade. That's a penalty they're never going to call against the offense, right? When you're here like this, Deron Bland has got to get his head turned around, right? Because he knows A.J. Brown sees the ball. He's headed towards the end zone. You got to get your head turned around and hope that you can locate the ball, possibly bat it down from the offensive player, but he never does. Boom. Easy touchdown. I mean, you can complain all you want, but that's going to be a TD all day. That is a big boy NFL TD, right? All right, so now let's take a look. Let's look at something positive for the Cowboys. I've been showing a lot of negatives here. I did want to pull a positive play. Jaylen Tobler was questionable coming into the game. I explained to you guys before the game that he had a compound dislocation, which means when his finger dislocated from its socket, it actually tore through the skin. And he needed to have stitches to stitch the skin back up, and then have to have his finger relocated into the socket, and then have that taped up all week. And he said he was going to give it a go. So homeboy's a gamer, right? Cowboys at this point, it's 7-0. The Eagles are winning, and the Cowboys need to go down and try to figure some things out. So here we go, right? We have Tolbert down at the bottom. We have Cooks at the top. We have Rush. We have Ezekiel Elliott, and we have Jake Ferguson going in motion. And we have another wide receiver who I can't quite see. It's Jonathan Mingo. So we have Mingo also up top as well, right? So you got Ferguson. He's going in motion to kind of give Cooper Rush a beat on what's going on. but the defense never really moves, right? If you watch when Ferguson goes in motion, I mean, the only person that really moves here is the safety. Everybody else is stationary. So it's really hard to get a beat on what type of coverage is going on if you're just trying to give a tell for your quarterback, right? So boom. Rush is going to run the play on the snap of the ball. Let's see what happens. Boom. So everything is blocked up here, right? You got this guy coming free. Zeke looks like he's trying to help out somewhere. Mango looks like he's trying to attack on the inside. You also have Cooks, who's probably trying to body this guy and maybe go outside. So you maybe have an outside release, an inside release, and then everything else blocking up. And Jaylen Tobler looks like he's running a fade route, right? And Cooper Rush, to his credit, he's already made the decision. I mean, from snap of the ball to decision is maybe 2 seconds, probably a little less. And this ball's already out. Jaylen Tobler is not open at all by NFL standards. But Cooper Rush decides to let this ball go. Jaylen Tobler, boom, high points it, makes a strong catch. Cowboys touchdown. At this point, I was pretty pumped up because we were still in the game. Boom, we got a touchdown now. We answered you on the score. Cooper Rush made a good throw. Jaylen Tobler made a good catch. But Cooper Rush would never play this way for the rest of the game. And that's kind of the problem of what happened with the Dallas Cowboys here. So let's take a look at basically what defined the game. The Eagles came out early, right? And you could tell that they were playing for something. The Cowboys are always going to have an uphill challenge without CeeDee Lamb, as well as all their other myriad of injuries they had this season. But we showed you in the pregame some ways that the Cowboys were able to take advantage even when CeeDee Lamb wasn't on the field in games prior. So here we go, right? Hey, let's see what happens. So you got 1, you got 3. So it's a 3-by-1. You got your 5 down linemen. Hunter Lipke's in there. It's 3rd down and 3. So Cooper Rush honestly just has to keep the chains moving here. Hunter Lipke goes in motion, comes back. Again, I feel like the Eagles did a pretty good job in both highlights we watched, right? Look at their defense. Not many people move when Hunter Lipke goes in motion and then comes back. So Cooper Rush, again, not necessarily knowing what's going on here. Eagles doing a good job of disguising what they want to do on defense. So Cooper's just going to run the play. He's like, all right, hey, this is what we got called. Let's run it. So the Eagles on the snap of the ball, they bring forward. They bring another guy on a delayed blitz. They're playing a single high safety. So right now, if I am the quarterback, I should be reading this part of the field, right? Because this is where all my opening is with the single high, and we already bunched to this set. Now this guy's coming on a blitz, which means this side of the field is where my one-on-one coverage is going to be. All right, Cooper Rush, he's holding the ball. So right now, he could go here, and you might not complete the play, but you give your wide receiver a chance to just like kind of go up and get it. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's throw it up to Jonathan Mingle, and let's see if he can make a play. But instead, you have Ferguson here, right, and you have 2 guys here. Cooper Rush is looking. You have Cooks coming across the middle. So it looks like it's one of those routes where you have Ferguson run up and clear out, and then you have Cooks run up right behind him. And if Ferguson takes these guys with him, Cooks just goes to that vacated spot and gets a nice, easy completion for Cooper Rush, keeps the chains moving and the drive going. But what we do see here is that this guy passes off this guy, and he stays. He never goes with it. So now when Cooper Rush is making his decision, he's expecting Brandon Cooks to beat this guy across his face, and for this guy to be bracketing and going with, the tight end, Jake Ferguson. But it doesn't happen. And what happens because that doesn't happen? Gardner Johnson comes up, boom. He intercepts that ball. He takes it back. I mean, Eagles go up 7-0. There's nobody there on that part of the field. It was a decent play design, and it was good defense by Philadelphia too, because honestly, as a quarterback, you're expecting, hey, CeeDee Lamb is out, Jake Ferguson's going to be the person that they try to take away, and they're going to try to take him away by bracketing him, double covering him. So on third down, that's where they're expecting me to go. Let me have Jake Ferguson run that route. Brandon Cooks coming right behind him, and the defense just played a trap coverage, and Cooper Rush fell into the trap. That's just how it goes there, man. It sucks. It really sucks. But that's what happened. So let's take a look at our last one here. Here we have another big play by Philadelphia in the game here. So the Cowboys try to get a little cute on this play, and you'll see what I mean. So Philly lines up with 2 wide receivers at the bottom, another wide receiver up top, and you got a tight end and a running back in the backfield, 5 down linemen. Cowboys match it with that same A-gap blitz look, like they're going to mug that A-gap, right? So boom, on the snap of the ball, Kendricks drops out, right? And then we have Leofeld drop out, right? So now they're like, hey, we've got this. We fooled this guy. Let's see what we can do. So these guys are trying to get pressure. But on the same token, you have the receivers of the Philadelphia Eagles getting on your corners pretty quickly. I mean, if you look at the bottom here, which newsflash, this is where the ball goes, you can see Booth, right? He's backpedaling. And this is the problem, right? Because the ball's already out of the quarterback's hands. He sees what's going on here. Oruwariye never opens his hips. He's playing tight right now. Maybe he watched a lot of the video that we watch where the Eagles were running a ton of comeback routes with Devontae Smith coming back to the football. But, man, they call that dude the Slim Reaper for a reason, right? So Devontae Smith gets on him and gets on his heels before he has a chance to even open up and turn and run. Devontae Smith, at this point, we're paused, but Devontae Smith is at full speed, right? He's already on Oruwariye while Oruwariye is just backpedaling and turning. The quarterback sees that and lets the ball go. Oruwariye has to have – you got to have your hips open and going at this point. You know that you are single because this guy here, right, on the snap of the ball, when the ball goes out, Hooker is shading to this side. He's looking, hey, I'm trying to help on A.J. Brown. Now, I don't know why he's trying to help on A.J. Brown and not trying to help on Devontae Smith, especially considering he has his young cornerback out here on a one-on-one. So he should already be looking that way because